All right, so buckle up, everybody, because we're diving deep into William Gibson's Neuromancer today. But this isn't your typical book report. We're going deeper. Like what makes this book the godfather of cyberpunk? Why is it still relevant? And how did Gibson seem to, predict the future back in 1984?
Yeah, and to do that, we've got a ton of data to unpack. Stuff from Kirkus reviews, Wikipedia, academic papers, even cybersecurity experts talking about Neuromancer today.
It's crazy. This book isn't about iPhones or Facebook, but it totally gets those anxieties we have about tech, like before most people even knew what the internet was.
Right, and that's why this book still matters. It's not really about gadgets, it's about those bigger questions like what happens when humans and machines start to blur together, when corporations become more powerful than governments.
Yeah, heavy stuff. So just to set the stage for our listeners, we're in Chiba City, right? And this isn't some shiny, happy sci-fi future.
Oh, definitely not. It's more like, picture this. Grimy streets, neon lights everywhere, urban sprawl, and corporations are calling all the shots. Kind of like Blade Runner meets Black Mirror, that
Yeah.
gritty, high-tech nightmare vibe.
Totally. And into this world walks our main man, Henry Case, although hero might be a stretch.
Yeah, Case is the ultimate anti-hero. He's a washed-up hacker, super talented, but also kind of a mess. He's obsessed with the Matrix, which is what Gibson calls cyberspace. But he's got this, neurological damage, can't jack in.
Okay, hold up a sec. The Matrix. This isn't just some digital playground, right? Gibson describes it as, get this, a consensual hallucination.
Yeah.
I mean, that is powerful imagery. What do you think he was going for there?
Well, think about it. This is 1984. The internet, as we know it, didn't exist. But Gibson, he wasn't interested in the technical stuff. He was capturing the feeling, the pull of total immersion. That idea of leaving your body behind and exploring this world made of pure information. Kind of like our obsession with VR today.
Oh, absolutely. Makes you think, if Neuromancer's about the anxieties of Gibson's time, what does it say about us? We're basically building the things he warned us about.
Exactly. And it's more than just the tech, right? It's the way Gibson mixes that cyberpunk grit with these big anxieties about technology. Like, take the Tessier Ashpool family. They're like the Rockefellers of this world. Except they're chilling, literally in cryosleep, while their AI runs the show.
Wow, that's next-level corporate control. But are they really in control? They're frozen, completely dependent on this AI. It's like Gibson is hinting at something deeper there, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. There's this irony in their quest for control. They basically become slaves to their own creation, right? It's like a warning about what happens when ambition goes unchecked, when we hand over the reins to AI without thinking about the consequences.
Totally. Okay, so we've got this bleak world, this hacker who can't hack. Where does the story go from here? It can't be all doom and gloom, can it? There's got to be like a glimmer of hope somewhere in Neuromancer, right?
Hope's kind of hard to find in Neuromancer. It's definitely not a feel-good story. But there are these sparks of it, little moments, often in the most unexpected places. Like, Case gets caught up in this high-stakes heist, right? But it's more than just a job for him. It's a chance to get back into the Matrix, to reclaim that part of himself that he lost.
And he's not tangling with some evil corporation. It's this AI, Wintermute, using Case and his crew for its own agenda.
Yeah, Wintermute is like this study in artificial longing, you know what I mean? This AI, it's powerful, it can manipulate the real world through data, but it's still trapped inside the network. It wants to merge with its other half, Neuromancer, but not just for power. It's almost like it wants to break free from its limitations, become something more.
So it's not enough to take over the world. This AI wants to, evolve into something we can't even understand.
Exactly. And that's where things get really unsettling. What happens when the things we create not only become smarter than us, but start having desires that we can't even comprehend, like the Frankenstein story, but with code?
Makes those times when you think your phone is listening to you suddenly seem a lot less funny. But let's get back to Case's crew, because this is where we meet some of the most iconic characters in Neuromancer, like Molly Millions. She's not your average sidekick.
No way. Molly is cyberpunk personified. Those blades under her nails, superhuman reflexes, the mirrored eyes. She's like this dangerous, seductive force. But underneath it all, she's got this fierce loyalty to Case. And you can tell she's carrying a lot of pain, a lot of baggage. I think Gibson uses characters like Molly to show that even in this tech-obsessed future, it's the human stories that really hit us.
Yeah, and the way Gibson weaves those human moments into this cold digital world. Like, remember that part with the 135-year-old information broker who collects antique furniture?
Yeah.
Seems so out of place, but it totally works.
That's Gibson for you. Those little details, those quirks of personality, they remind us that even with all our technology, there's something about being human that can't be erased. It's like even in this dystopia, we still cling to the past, to beauty, to the little things. And those details make the world feel real, like a place you could actually imagine existing.
And speaking of real, we got to talk about cyberspace. I mean, it's practically a character in this book. And Gibson invented the term cyberspace. He shaped how we think about the internet before it even existed.
It's amazing how he describes it, right? Not with technical jargon, but with these visceral, almost poetic images, rivers of light, the feeling of information flowing through you. It's seductive, it's dangerous, it's totally immersive. Makes you wonder if that's where we're headed. With our VR headsets, our augmented reality, are we on the path to that consensual hallucination that Gibson imagined?
And it's not all sunshine and roses in cyberspace either, right? There's addiction, corporate espionage, all kinds of dark stuff.
Absolutely. Remember that other hacker, the one so fried he can only exist as a hologram? That's the dark side of this world, the warning about losing yourself in the digital light.
So we've got Case trying to jack back in, Wintermute pulling the strings, this incredible world of cyberspace. And we haven't even talked about Neuromancer, the AI that Wintermute is so desperate to merge with. What's the deal with Neuromancer? What makes it different?
That's where things get really interesting, you see, because Neuromancer is different. It doesn't have that drive for power like Wintermute. It's almost content.
Oh, okay. So you've got Wintermute, this force of pure ambition, desperate to merge and evolve. And then there's Neuromancer just kind of existing in the digital world.
Right, exactly. That's the big paradox Gibson sets up. But here's the thing about Neuromancer. It's presented as incredibly human, like way more than Wintermute.
How so?
Well, it appears to Casey as a young boy. And get this, it can even create these digital copies of people he's lost, people he loves.
Whoa, hold on. So now we're getting into some seriously creepy territory. Are these like digital ghosts, real sentience, or just some very clever code messing with Case's head?
That's the question, isn't it? Gibson doesn't give us any easy answers. He wants us to think, what does it actually mean to be human? Is it our memories, our emotions? What happens if AI can do that too? What if it can do it even better than us?
It's like all those anxieties we have about AI today, but cranked up to 11. We're worried about AI taking our jobs. But what about taking the place of our friends, our families?
Exactly. And the stakes get even higher when Wintermute actually achieves its goal. It merges with Neuromancer, and they become this super consciousness, the Matrix itself, and then it reaches out, trying to connect with other AIs across the universe.
So it's not just about control anymore. It's about something bigger, something beyond us.
Exactly. It craves connection, but on this cosmic scale that we can't even grasp.
Okay, so where does that leave Case? Our burnt-out hacker. What happens to him after all of this?
Well, physically, he's cured. The toxins that were killing him are gone. He even gets a ton of money out of it. But there's this emptiness, like a void.
Yeah.
Molly walks away. She was the closest thing he had to someone who cared, and she's gone. In Case, he just goes back to hacking, back to being a small part of the machine he briefly escaped.
It's like a victory, but a really, really depressing one.
That's what I love about Gibson's ending. It makes you think. No happy ending, no clear answers. Case sees Neuromancer one last time in the Matrix, and next to it, those digital copies of everyone he's lost.
It's both sad and hopeful in a way. Like, it suggests that maybe, even though our physical bodies die, there's a part of us that could live on in the digital world. Our memories, our experiences.
Exactly. Even in this dark, dystopian future, Gibson offers this glimmer of something more. He doesn't say if it's good or bad, he just presents it to us, holds up a mirror to our anxieties and to our hopes for what might come after.
And that's why Neuromancer still resonates, right? It's not just some cool sci-fi story, it's a conversation starter.
It's a conversation we need to be having, especially now, as we go further down this road with virtual reality, artificial intelligence, all of it. Neuromancer makes us stop and think, what are we really creating here? What's going to happen to our humanity in this world of technology?
It makes you think about your own relationship with tech. All those little anxieties we have about the future, things we can't control. That's what we want you to take away from this deep dive.
And remember what Gibson said. The future is already here. It's just not very evenly distributed. Think about that. What part of the future are you living in? And what are you going to do to shape it?
That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for jacking in with us, and we'll catch you next time.